I still cannot work out for me why politicians, especially conservative politicians in the UK, keep on saying that we should be emulating Argentina, or more specifically, shall we say, emulating Javier Milei specifically, because Kemi Badenoch keeps on saying this again and again and again. And only just this morning, at the time I am sort of recording this video, she's come out in a big piece in the Daily Telegraph to say, I want to be Britain's next Javier Milei. This would end in absolute disaster because, well, saying you, well, want to be the next version of, I don't know, Javier Milei is saying that you want to be the British version of a car crash, but with flamethrowers. You know, hey, it's a car crash, but you're just going to make that car crash even more flashy. You know, for those of you who don't actually spend, all your, free time Googling Argentinian political chaos, Javier Milei is basically a chainsaw-wielding president of Argentina who thinks all his solution to the economic collapse is just, well, to have more collapse, but just faster. He's a libertarian economist. He's an anarcho-capitalist. And I kid you not, I genuinely kid you not, because this is true. He gets his policy advice from his dead dog. Yep, that is a dead dog cabinet. And yes, it is that Milei that Kemi is out to idolize and make him the ideal persona that she is going to emulate and that we must follow. That is insane. But saying this, going, oh my God, he's so wonderful. I just think he's got some really bold ideas. Well, you know who else had some really bold ideas as well? Nero. And he set Rome on fire and then decided he was going to build a massive new palace over these slums that had burnt down. And remind me, how did Nero's reign end? Not too well, quite frankly. But back to Milei. You have to remember, this guy went to political rallies waving an actual chainsaw around like it was a TED talk being given by Leatherface. And yet he's gone and dismantled over half of Argentinia's government. He has gutted public services. And not only that, he has suggested that they completely ditch their currency for the US dollar. And it is basically in the process of desperately trying to do that. Because nothing screams economic sovereignty like trying to beg America for all their spare change. Because that is what he's effectively doing. He is handing over his country's monetary policy over to America. And if anything goes wrong, hoping, fingers crossed, that they'll give him some spare change. The World Bank recently gave Argentina the largest physical fund of US dollars it has ever given. Why? Because prior to this, they were running out of US dollars. And when you've sort of made your currency the new US dollar and the peso is pretty much useless, then you've got to rely on any physical American currency you can get your hands on. And this is going to end in a massive, massive disaster for Argentina. And you've got to be serious now that Kemi wants to copy that. She wants to copy that. But bear in mind, this is the very same woman who is currently, of course, busy waging a war on woke, banning things that, well, no one really asked her to ban. She makes Brexit look like a group project that, well, no one has revised for. And now she wants to take notes from the human version of a stock market crash. Currently in Argentina, all of Milei's reforms have caused mass protest, nationwide strikes, and a spike in poverty so brutal it makes Trussonomics look like a complete warm-up act. So yeah, sure, let's bring all this wonderful stuff to Britain, right? Can't afford rent? No problem. Kemi's new economic plan lets you just pay in vibes and just pure baked beans. Public sector? Pff, cut it. NHS? Privatize it. Education? Well, if you can't afford it, clearly you don't deserve it. Also, just as an extra little thing, buy Bitcoin, because that's really what Britain needs. Bringing in someone who is engaged in a crypto bro cosplay right in the middle of a cost of living price crisis. How is that going to solve it? None of what Milei's reforms have done would solve any of the UK's problems. If anything, it would make everything 10 times worse, if not even more than that. And that is me being very cautiously optimistic. God forbid she should ever actually get in power and try and implement any of this stuff. But the sad thing is most people in the UK, and especially conservatives, have no idea the kind of chaos and the nonsense that Milei is going and causing in Argentina. Because at the surface level, Argentina's economy looks all right. The problem is just like any big problem or falling apart house, you lift the curtains, you peel back the wallpaper, and the rot is there for everyone to see. It is not something we should be emulating. It is not someone you would expect conservatives to be emulating either, given, again, the fact he gets all his policy proposals from a dead dog. At what point is Kemi Badenoch going to be hosting a seance to contact that dog as well? Generally, at the moment, Kemi Badenoch generally seems like someone who would govern a house that she would burn down quite gladly to try and prove that fire is efficient. And now Kemi wants to bring in the chainsaw to try and, I don't know, win more approval. But Kemi, here's the thing. You are the leader of the opposition in the 6th richest country in the world. And your dream now is to emulate a man whose entire economy is held together with duct tape, ghost dogs, and screaming. Is that really what you want to emulate? But I mean, why not even go another step further? Why not say you want to be Britain's next Elon Musk and just promise to replace Parliament with an app that doesn't work and a rocket that, well, just continuously catches on fire? So, Kemi, in all honesty, if you really want to be Britain's Javier Milei, then the first thing you should do is just delete your budget. Say that you're going to fire half the country and now build your entire rest of your political career entirely on YouTube rants and complete blind chaos. And quite frankly, looking at the current state of the Conservative Party, really seems that they're halfway there. So, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to like, subscribe, and of course, comment below if you'd also like to be governed by someone who thinks that inflation is just a complete myth. And again, I am serious about that. Javier Milei thinks that inflation is just a myth and doesn't really exist. And yet again, this is someone that our main opposition party wants to emulate. So, Britain, we are truly in the safest of hands. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.